Okay. First we'll see the component, like what is a component. Okay, so whenever we are developing HTML pages, we are writing the duplicate code like anything. In all the pages we are writing sidebar code, okay, which is duplicated, and in the headers also, in all the pages we are writing it, right? Okay, to solve that problem, what this React and Angular they have done is they have come up with a concept called components. Okay, so using the component, don't repeat your code, only keep one time, and whenever it is required you use your component. So that is the basic idea of the component. Okay, same that this is the same in the Angular and same in the React also. Okay, so that is the reason we are going for a component. Whenever you want to remove your duplicate code, then we'll go for a component. So first we will see how to write a normal component, and we'll see them. Okay, so for mainly these components are two types in the React. Mainly components are two types. Okay, first one is a class based component, and second one is a function based component. Whenever initially they have released the React, they have released a components with a class based. So we know how to write a class name. Okay, suppose I want to extend inheritance, I want to go ahead, then what is the keyword I can use? It extends keyword. And whatever we are writing right side, this is nothing but my parent class. Okay, we will go one by one. First we'll see what is a component, and then we'll go for a types. Okay, a component is nothing but a which will display something to the user. Suppose I want to display some home page, or I want to display header page, I want to display footer page. So we are displaying some content to the user. So and that is like a reusable component. So that is the reason we are going for a component. So let us already we have created a three components yesterday. One is a header. So here we are writing a function and function name, and inside the function we are writing a one return statement. So inside the return statement, whatever the HTML we are writing, we can write everything same. There is no change at all. Okay, the only change here is we are writing one function, and this function I want to use it in a second place. That is the reason I am writing a export default and something like this. And if you go to app.js, we are going to use this header. Okay, so let us have this one. So and since we are writing, we can reuse this entire header. How many places we want to use it, we can use it. We will not repeat the code, but we will repeat only component name. So that is a real advantage. Okay, and it will avoid the duplicate code, because I no need to write multiple times, we need to write only one time. So that is the advantage. Okay, inside the component, sometimes we what we will have is, for styling purpose we will have the CSS also, because we are writing our JS files, we can write our CSS also here. Okay, I will see we will see how to add a CSS also here. That is okay. So next, component. First the rules, very small rule. The first, whenever we are writing a component, the first name, first letter always it should be capital. Suppose if you are writing small, what will happen is you will get an error. Okay, your component will not work at all. That is the main very important point. Okay, and components mainly are two types. That first one is a function based, second one is a class based. So let us see one example for function based, and let us go for another one. So let us see. So first we want to write a header.js. So inside the header.js I'm writing a function and header and return statement. Okay, so and inside the return statement, this curly braces we are writing it, this is only for like a intentional. You no need to write this also. Sometimes without this also this will work fine. Okay, so but it always, most of the time they will write with this brackets. Okay, so inside here I am writing a one, whatever the display I want to display to the user, we can write that information here. That is okay. So this is nothing but something, and in the last line we are writing export, and what is the next I'm using it default and something. Suppose whenever you are writing a export default header, go to the first, where is the u file you are using it in the first file. So in that place you can say import. What is your class name you are exporting here? If you go to here, what is the class name you are exporting? Header. So that is the reason you should use only that name here. Okay, and from which folder that file is available? Dot components. If you see from here, components, from inside the component, what folder? Header folder. Inside the header folder, what file? Header.js. So whenever you are importing, don't write this header.js. This .js extension is not required. Automatically our this library will take care about it. Okay, that is the reason we'll do it. And there is another way is called, so suppose we are going to remove this default, Okay, in the second file, I'm going to remove this default. Okay, I'm exporting here. So I will remove this export also. Let me just write a export here. Okay, so instead of writing 2 lines, we can write in a single line also. That is also possible. So if you are saving here, you are going to get one error. Okay, the error here is, so if you see in the bottom, here export default imported as a header and was not found in the here. So it is complaining that you are not writing any default keyword. That is the reason I am not able to import it here. Okay, when normally whenever you have only single component, we will write a export default. But sometimes what they will do, suppose I want to export 2 components from the same file, then we cannot write a default for 2 components. Okay, in that case, what we have to do, go to first component. Whenever you are importing like this, you add this component inside these brackets. Okay, that means whenever your component is not exported as a default, you have to write a syntax like this. Okay, so whatever the component name you want to write it, just put a this brackets object bracket and inside that write your name, and it will solve your problem. Okay, see, your problem is solved, your output is coming. Okay, that is the reason sometimes whenever we are importing, we will write our import with the this brackets. That meaning is in that component they are not writing any default. That is the reason we have to use like this. Suppose your component is exporting as a default, then you can directly write like a your component name. But if your component name is not writing a default, then you have to import like this. That is the only difference between the importing the square brackets and without a square brackets. Okay, so that is. Now let's go for the our case. So now we have imported. Let us go to our header and I will say export default. So in the single line itself, we can write it export. So this is nothing but a function based component where we are simply writing a function, simply writing export default and function name. So this is a function based component. This function based component is released only inside the 16.8 version, and which is from the 2019 only. Okay, before this 2019 there is no function based component at all. We have to write the classes only. Okay, if somebody is working previously, they are expecting you to work on only on the class based, but in the recent version most of the time they are working with the function based. Nowadays most people are going for this function based only because it is very handy and convenient. But still we have to know how to write the class based also. Let us have a class based component. So the second type is a class based. Same React only, same component only, but writing style is only different. There is no difference at all. The output is same, everything will be same. Only the how you are writing component is only different. Okay, let us go and write a second way. How to write a second way? So here what I'm going to do, I'm going to write a one simple class here. Okay, so we want to write a footer. Let us write a footer. Export. We know how to write, why you are writing export, because I want to use it in a second file. And then I can write a default. Okay, default, because I want to use it as a default one. Now I want to write a class. Whenever we want to write any class, so what is the name? We'll write it. We can write any class name. So this class name is a footer. Same function name can be same. This is also class. And so whenever we want to write like, usually we'll write like this, correct, right? But now what is the thing is, I want to explain to the React, hey React, this is not a normal class. This is a component class. I need to explicitly say that this is not a normal JavaScript class. This is a React component class. That is the reason we have to extend one class, extends react.component. You need to write extends. So and React, you just say control and space. So now automatically it will import the React. So this component is available from the React library. That is the reason I'm saying a React.component. Okay, whenever we are writing this React.component, we have to override one method. Okay, so that method name is a render method. Okay, So this render method. So whenever we are writing in the React style, you should not directly like a return and something like that. Because if you are writing a function, you can write a return statement. But whenever you are writing a class-based component, we have to write a function called render. Okay, you have to write that method only, because React will use that method name only to show any output. Okay, so let me save file, save all, and reload in the page. Okay, so see here, footer it is displaying. So if I go to my, I will change this header. Okay, latest footer, and save it. Let us see whether the latest footer is coming or not. Yes. Okay, so how you are writing your component is up to us. Either we can go for a class based, or we can go for a function based. Suppose if you are going to join any company, if they are writing in a class based, you say I don't have any problem, I can work with the class based also. The only thing what we are going to do, if it is a class based, you are going to write your logic inside the render function. If it is a function based, you are going to write directly inside the function. That is the only difference. Okay, the remaining thing we will see what are the remaining differences. Okay, for now this is enough, but we will see more depth for class based. I will go in the last, like what are the other methods are available, how, what is the life cycle of a component, everything I will explain it in the next. Okay, so now we know how many types of components are there. This is the first interview question. There are two type of components are there. One is a function based, and there is a class based. Class based is the first one they created. Function based is the recent one only. Okay, yes. Now we have, if you want to create any component, we can create like this, and the function is coming from only 2019. Earlier it is not there. Okay, yes, and you can write a class based. And so what is important method we want to override? A render method. Inside the render method, whatever the logic you are writing, same logic it will display to the browser. And how you are using the remaining, everything same. Suppose here the footer component I am using a class, but header component I am using a function, but still I can use it in the app.js, right? Both are same only, there is no problem at all. Okay, still the output will be same, still how you are using also same, only writing style is different. Okay, so with this one, so this is all about the function. Suppose there are some interview questions about regarding the these questions. Let us see what are the interview questions regarding it, and then we'll go for the next concept. Okay, so React and interview question. So first question is, what is React and what are the advantages of React? Okay, you can say React is a JavaScript library, single page applications, works based on the virtual DOM, and it is a reconciliation, and it allows, we can use the create, and you can tell all the points. Okay, and the next interview question is, what is reconciliation? So what is the reconciliation? Comparing with the current state with the previous one. That is nothing but a reconciliation. Internally, what algorithm it will use? Fiber. That algorithm name is a fiber. Okay, and next is, what is a real DOM and what is a virtual DOM? Virtual DOM is nothing but a simple JavaScript object. It is not a real DOM. And what are the differences? You can see it. Okay, and how many type of components are there? So mainly two type, very important question. Okay, two type of components. So how you are going to write a class based component? You are going to write one class, and which will extend is the React data component. And what is the method we have to override? A render function. Okay, that is the main important point. Inside that one, we can write the logic. And what is the second way? Function based. We can write a function, and the function name must be capital letter. That is the important point. And internal inside that we can return a statement, and there where we can write our logic. That, so these questions are already covered. Okay,